All right, guys, welcome back. First episode 2021, Real Fans Podcast, episode 6. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone is going to achieve their goals. You know what I'm saying? Go do what they got to do in this new year. How y'all doing? Welcome back, guys.
I love how the intros. Gabe gets so hype, he has to mute his mic.
I'm trying to get my spirits up.
He has to mute his mic. He gets so high.
I don't want to be, whatever.
Yo, honestly, you look like a dolphin clapping over there in your jersey, too. Your little fins out there.
Fins up. The fin's almost over your head on that Marlin fin. Fresh off the press. We got to jump right into, blockbuster trade. Y'all know what's going on in the NBA. James Harden traded to the Brooklyn Nets. We're Brooklyn now. That's wild,
Brooklyn.
Bro. That's the Bronx, but
Jojo, you're not from Brooklyn anyways. You're from Buffalo. Just accept.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, relax, bro.
Yo, your Bills they made the second round of the playoffs, man. Your Bills.
Congrats, bro.
Congrats, Bills Mafia. Strong out here.
Yo, so let's get into it. Yo, James Harden to the Nets. The Rockets get Victor Oladipo, XM corrects. 3 first-round picks. Milwaukee gets a first-round pick.
Bro.
So Brooklyn gave up 4, right?
I got 3.
But they gave up to Houston, but then they get another one to Milwaukee, right? So they gave up 4 first-round picks. That's fucking insane. That's insane. Like I guess basketball is different, but like shit. 4 first.
Well, that's their future.
That's a lot.
They don't want to title this year. It's kind of like, what was the reason? What was the point? Obviously, we know what's going on in Houston. James wanted out of there. His first option at first was the Nets, and then he was trying to get to Philly, which last minute that didn't work out. But can you imagine that locker room? Right, you got 3 of the most petty players right now currently in the NBA. They're gonna be playing together. You got KD, Twitter fingers, right? You got James Harden right now, which that whole fiasco going on in Houston. Well, that's coming to an end now. And you got what's going on with Kyrie Irving in the NBA. How do you think that's gonna mesh going on onto the floor? Like,
I think one of the reasons why they even went after Harden is because they don't think Kyrie's gonna be there. I don't think Kyrie's going to be there. I don't think he's going to show up. I don't think he's like he's half-ass play. He's going to like cause drama. I think they brought in Harden because they don't have faith in Kyrie.
He's already been causing drama even since the ending of last season. You know, he boycotted the season. He didn't play. I mean, like, to each his own. You know, he has his reasons. His injury last year, he barely played any games. Coming in, like, it doesn't seem like he wants to play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's playing great.
And I think that's why they put so much into Harden, because they know that, like, you can't rely on Kyrie. Like, you don't know if he's going to be there 3 years from now. You just don't know. Like, I think having Harden and KD is a more surefire thing. Shit, they get rid of Kyrie, they pick up Westbrook. You got the trifecta back together once again.
No, that's not happening.
That's not happening. They have nothing to trade anymore. They have nothing to trade.
Nobody closed that off.
They sold away their future by getting rid of all them picks. So.
Yeah, they can't do shit.
Bro, they even got rid of Jared Allen. That guy's been killing it for the Nets, bro.
They better hope.
That guy is great. Top blocker. He's out here cooking.
I got a stat here that says a tweet. There are only 7 active players in the NBA with a career usage above 29%. 3 of them, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, not play for one team. So, you know what that means? Who the hell's going to get the ball with all 3 of them? Right now, I think Kyrie's, he's sitting down because he got caught with COVID. I guess he went to his sister's 30th birthday or something over the weekend.
And he got caught maskless. Right now, all the media's on him. Everyone's watching Kyrie. I mean, you're in the Mecca, right? You're in Brooklyn. You're in New York. Media's on you. Yo, you sneeze the wrong way. You eat the wrong food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I saw somebody, they were saying on Twitter, like, people are mad, like, oh, why is everybody snitching on him? I was like, well, he's kind of snitching on himself, really. I mean, first of all, like when we had the bubble, the NBA was the fucking leader in this whole COVID shit. They fucking went to the bubble. They created that snitch line, and people got snitched on. I remember there's a guy from Houston that got kicked out, didn't he? Because he invited one of the testing ladies back to his room or something. He got kicked out at the end, right before the playoffs were about to start or something.
Right. They're cracking on COVID protocols, outside. You know what I mean? Like, there's still rules you have to follow, whether, you're seeing family, you're going out to eat. Like, there's all these restrictions that you have to take serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's safety, like, it's safety.
And so, he not only went out and did that all by himself, just like Harden did when he went to whatever his friend's party or whatever. He's telling himself, man. So we'll see right now. For right now, it seems like it's going to be Harden and KD for the time being. There's questions if Kyrie even wants to play or come back. He's going to come back and play. I mean, you have to play to get that contract money that you.
I don't
signed.
think it's necessarily that he won't come back. It's just like, is he going to have the There's a difference when somebody's playing out there just for a paycheck and they're not like playing with any passion. Like, you're not going to win a championship like that. Like, you're not like you. Trying to compete with all these other guys that are so hungry that want to play, and he's just kind of like half-assing. And I'm not to say like he won't like turn it around and like be serious about it, but it's just like right now it's like, can you trust him? And I think it was part of I'm sure that played a factor into getting Harden. I mean, like, you have to think about that. Like, and then
everyone has we don't know what's going on with him, right? Obviously, but like, we're just looking at the actions, right? So like, if you're not playing, you're getting all that money, you're kind of hurting. Like,
you got to play. They don't give you that for free. You get your signing bonus for free just for signing the contract, but you got to play to make money. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Well, just like that bullshit. Like, he said he's not going to talk to the media. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is your job. This is what you sign up for. You talk to the media. Like, this is what's in your contract. You can't just sit here and boycott and say, like, I'm not going to talk to the media. No, this is what you signed up for. You knew what you're getting into. This is what it is. Like, this helps.
Just go out there.
This promotes the brand of the NBA. I understand you might not like some of the things that people say, but like, this is the job. Like, it's part of it. Yeah, your job is not just playing basketball. Your job is to help promote the NBA as well. And you can't just sit here and like it. He just comes off like such a whiny bitch to me. Like, he just pisses me off. Like,
right, check this, right? Everyone thought LeBron was the issue why he left Cleveland.
I mean, I think LeBron's got his own issues, but I think they clashed. I think they clashed.
You know what I mean? Of course they clashed. But look at Kyrie's persona now, right? You see him now. You see him on the Celtics. You see what's going on in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Even when he went to the Celtics, there was that thing where he was kind of like walking around with swagger, like, "Hey, I'm the guy, the championship guy. Let me teach you, young man, how to win championships because I'm a champion." You know what I mean? I got the ring.
He was stressed out with the Celtics. He felt like he had to carry the team, and he had what I think was Tatum, a rookie at the time when he went to the Celtics, and he had Hayward got injured and all that, and he was stressed there. He needed out. Like, everything started off well. He was hyped, and then look what happened. He had to put the team on his back, and he was like, "Oh."
He's not a lead guy. He's not a leader.
Yeah.
He's not a leader. This is what it is.
And he wanted to be the guy, right? He left LeBron to be the guy, meaning his first 3 years in the league with the Cavs, they didn't even make the playoffs. LeBron comes, you straight to the finals. And then you're going to go ahead and dip out on LeBron and leave that,
The thing is, you can't be a guy and not be a leader. Like, to be the guy, you have to be the leader. Like, it's just what it is. Like, and he's not. Like, at the end of the day, this is a team sport. Like, you can ball out all day long, but like, at the end of you still need these other guys you need to elevate their play by being a better leader, and he's just not that.
I don't know if you guys saw Stephen A's take. He's like, "Hey, I think Kyrie should just retire, man. Whether you have all this stuff going on in your life, but the point is, if you're not playing, you're not producing your team, you're getting paid $30 million a year. You're just hurting the organization. Like, honestly, if you feel like your heart is not to play."
It's the organization's fault to keep on signing him. If it's their job to be like, you know what, I'm not going to pay you anymore. Like, like, you're like, screw you. Like, and the thing too is like, this team is going to be really tricky because then you're also having a rookie coach with Steve Nash, who's never coached ever, and he's a great basketball mind, but obviously coaching is a whole different game. So like, we're going to have to see like how this is going to mesh with like his thought process.
Hold their players accountable. These rookie coaches, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? They're new to it. They're coming from the player side onto the coaching side. But
We have to see how they're going to be a really interesting situation because
my question is, this is the question: are they coming out of the East?
No,
I think so. I think so. He's gonna play, man. He's gonna play. He sat out last. He sat out.
No, he's talking about like they're gonna make the finals.
Yeah, the finals.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna blow up. I think they're gonna implode on themselves. I don't think.
I don't know because the way this season goes,
they might make a run.
KD and Harden. You don't think them two can make it to the finals? Just them two? Let's say them two.
Just
we gotta see. We gotta see. Yeah, you look on paper, yeah, but like we just have to see how this is gonna work out between these guys because with Steve Nash as the coach, and then like how Harden and KD are gonna mesh because they're not necessarily like team players. They're all coming from a situation where they were the guy. KD probably knows how to handle that better, obviously being in Golden State, but like, we'll have to see. Like, if they're getting hot at the end of the season, then I might change my mind. But looking at it now and just seeing like these guys just look like drama queens, honestly, and it seems like basketball is like these guys have just turned into like prima donnas. Like it's getting so frustrating, honestly, and it just seems like there's so many of these like personalities that are just like, and it's like it's almost ruining it for me. But we'll see once it gets towards the end of the season. Like I don't see how they beat Miami, man. Like I don't see how they beat Miami. I don't see how they beat Boston. Like, we'll see. If they get hot, then I'll change my mind. But currently looking at it now, obviously they haven't even played a game together yet. So we just got to see.
I think he's going to play, man. Kyrie's going to play. He sat out last season. He was out of the bubble, if you guys remember, because of injury. So he didn't even play last year. And he was one of these guys that wanted to shut down the season because of all the social justice stuff that was going on outside of the bubble. So my thinking is he's coming in the season and he wants to play, and he wants to win. He wants to be the reason for winning. And when they first combined KD and Kyrie, then people were like, oh, snap, like they might, the Nets might be, they might do some damage. And now that they got Harden, I can see a scenario where Harden and Kyrie bump heads for, like I said, I just read this thing off of Twitter. The most usage above 29%, 7 people, and 3 of them are in the Nets right now. So I definitely see a scenario where KD is going to get his points, and he's probably the best facilitator out of the 3. But I see trouble with James Harden sharing the ball with Kyrie. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to happen.
Bro, that's going to be insane, bro. Ball handling. It's funny. I saw a meme on Instagram. It was like 2K and they're like 24-second shot clock and how they're going to spend one possession. It was Harden dribbling the ball for 10 seconds, KD dribbling the ball for the next 10, and then Kyrie right at the end.
Let me ask you this. Does Houston make the playoffs this year?
Oh, right now,
you're getting Oladipo, and then Westbrook is still on the team. Do they make it?
Who else do they got? They have DeMarcus Cousins. Who else is on that team? I don't even know who's on the Rockets.
They got John Wall.
They got John Wall. I don't know why. Why did I say Westbrook? I meant to say John. I was thinking John Wall when I said.
Yeah, I was like, no. Westbrook's on the Wizards. I had a thing where I'm like, bro, no.
No, I was thinking I remember that, and I was thinking Westbrook when I was thinking John Wall when I said Westbrook. But do they make a run, or do they make the playoffs? Like,
I can see them making a run towards the end. They definitely got a boost in Oladipo coming in, right? Offensive threat right there. They could make it happen. John Wall slowly but surely is getting back to his original ways. He's just coming off that injury as well. He's been training hard this past offseason. DeMarcus Cousins, if he gets his act together, again, injury prone as well.
Yeah, right? He's been out.
My question is, 3 major injuries from those last 3 players: John Wall, Oladipo, and DeMarcus Cousins. If they can stay healthy, I feel like they can make a run.
Let me see. I'm looking at the roster now. Sterling
They're
Brown,
not horrible.
Martin, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. I don't know. I don't really follow the West that closely, and I haven't really been paying attention, especially to the West teams. But usually the West is more competitive. I would have to look at the rosters. With this whole mix-up now, I got to settle in and see okay, who's doing what as far as the West goes.
The East right now, though.
I think they're not hurt for a long run, because sometimes you see these teams that put all this money and everything and all these picks to these guys, and then once they leave, they're just dead franchises. Houston seems like one of those where they're still gonna probably, if they draft right and if they, you know, build something there with the players they got, like they're not like scrubs. Like, you know, they could squeeze into the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be like a contender, but they could squeeze into the playoffs and win a couple games. I think if they draft right and do the right things, they're still a competitive team. Like they're not just gonna be like a shit tier team. But
even though James Harden is dropping 30 and 40 for them, they lose that. But like again, like I mean, they get Oladipo, bro. Very explosive. He's a facilitator. He can score. He can do everything, man.
Like Indiana, they're done. Like that franchise is done for a while. They're gonna have to like blow that up and rebuild it. Because
I knew they were done when the Heat swept them. Swept them out the playoffs. Bring out the brooms.
Talking about a rebuild. You see that logo on your hat? I know you're looking for a massive rebuild.
You want to talk about the Jags NFL, huh? You got the first draft pick.
Let's get it. This is one of the greatest situations that could ever happen in a rebuild. Man. So, precursor. Jaguars, Jets blow it. Jaguars get number 1 overall pick. And it's going to be our first number 1 overall pick in franchise history. And it happens to be probably the greatest NFL prospect to come out of college. Probably the greatest, if not the greatest. Nobody's talked about any other guy like this since Andrew Luck. And his name goes by Trevor Lawrence. And he just declared for the NFL draft, which means if you see it on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, we put up we retweeted his farewell Clemson video. And I was like, one more step to becoming a Jaguar and coming down to
here we go.
Here we go. It's like our situation is so great. Like, because we basically blew everything up. Like we had to. We got rid of everything. I was a little skeptical last offseason, but now coming into this offseason, it made everything worth it. Like I've never wanted to see my team lose so bad in my life because this is like one of the greatest. Like this guy's a beast.
Really rooting for them. I didn't understand this season. I was like, why do you want it?
Well, the Jets decided they wanted to win. You know?
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Well, the problem was with the Jets is that the Jets had players that wanted to win and needed to win. They had Adam, their coach. Yeah. Like he had like Sam Darnold's playing for a position. We had nobody. Yeah. We had young guys, and I mean we had Minshew, but Minshew ended up turning out to be a bust. Like we thought he was going to be something, like maybe, but like he ended up being a bust. I found out 3-4 games in that I was on the tank train. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We got Trevor Lawrence coming into the draft. Like we got to lose out. We got to lose out. Like this guy he's next level. Like he's coming into the NFL as a top 15 quarterback already. Like coming in. He's already probably going to be the second best quarterback we've ever had in our franchise's history.
That's high expectations.
Coming in, he's probably going to be the second best. But that's not so much high expectations on him. It says a lot about our franchise over the past 2 decades. I saw a stat like, so our franchise, we've been around for 27 years. We've picked in the top 10, 19 out of 27 years. We've picked in the top 10. So our situation.
But didn't you say it was the funny thing with Jags, right? You guys usually trade your first round, or you get rid of these guys?
No, we never sign them. We either never sign them or they end up being ass. And our only good one we ever really hit on was fucking Jalen Ramsey. And then look where he's at now in the fucking playoffs with the LA Rams. Which, you know, it's whatever. I don't really care. I'm over it. He was kind of a shit teammate, honestly. But I mean, we're coming up here. We're probably one of the top destinations. I mean, like we're going to talk about this in a second, but like for head coaching and stuff, like, dude, we're going to have the number 1 overall pick. We'll have another pick in the first round. We have the most picks in the entire NFL. No other team has more picks than us. We're going to have the most cap space, so we can literally sign whoever we want, especially in a season where they had to change the salary cap because of COVID and stuff, and a lot of teams are getting hurt by that. So we have every opportunity to like completely 180 this team, and we got young talent. We got a lot of young talent, and I'm hyped. I I expect us to be pushing for a playoff spot next year. And then the year after that, I expect us to be contender. 100%.
All right. So your predict now, right? Early prediction. Your record next year.
Guarantee.
9-7.
What is it?
I will be happy.
9-7.
I'll be happy with 9-7. Give me 9-7. Like, I'll be happy with 9.
The schedules yet?
Not yet. No, I think they have. I'm not sure. But think about it. I mean, the Dolphins were tanking last year. Like they were not
tanking. Dolphins not tanking.
Dolphins were tanking.
Flores don't tank. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
The Dolphins were tanking. It was 100%. It was so evident they were tanking. Bro.
You know how they weren't tanking? Because they beat Cincinnati. They were in contention, just like you were with the Jets. They were in contention to get the first pick. They could have got first pick, but you know what they decided is to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's when you know Flores wasn't tanking. He's not a tanker.
Here's the thing, though. Hey. I'm not saying he was tanking. The front office was tanking because you cannot deny that team last year had no fucking players. They had no players.
We had players. We had veteran players. We didn't have the best players. We still don't have players. Okay. Devontae last year had.
Think about it. Look how much money you guys spent on defense this offseason. You guys spent a shit ton of money on defense. Look how good
they were. Look how they kept us in games. How many turnovers? How many pick sixes?
I 100% agree with you. I agree with you there. I'm talking about last year. Last year, when you didn't have these guys, you guys were tanking. Like your front office was. You guys loved the idea
front office. Okay.
No, players and coaches don't tank.
Flores from the front office.
Even the Jags, like players, coaches, they don't tank. Especially our coach Doug Marrone and all our players, like they're not tanking. Marrone knew he was gone. He was going to get fired. Everybody knew he was gone. Our players, obviously, like they don't want to lose. They don't want to they don't care. But this is the front office, and I'm not surprised our owner Shad Khan that he probably had final say. Like, look, he told our GM and coach like, no, you're not signing these people because you know what? We got this motherfucker named Trevor Lawrence. Is probably one of the greatest prospects ever to come out, who beat Alabama in the national championship as a true freshman. He would have came out as the number 1 overall pick as a true freshman. Like every single year he said he would have came out. The only year probably would have been a little iffy is this past year with Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow had a miraculous season. If you look at a career as a whole, Trevor Lawrence has had probably one of the greatest college careers ever. The guy has no flaws.
You were saying like, he's the biggest prospect in these last coming years. Like, no disrespect to him, but like obviously last season he got overshadowed. I guess Joe Burrow and what he did with LSU and everything like that was ridiculous. So like, he's really that good. Like he's really that great. Like you think he's gonna have a better career than Joe Burrow?
I think so. Joe Burrow looks great. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously futures tell, but if I had to put my money, I would say Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow had a lot more question marks. He has and also, I mean, a lot of it's system. I don't know if I trust that Cincinnati system. The only thing I'm hoping that the Jags do is that we hire the right coach, whether it be Urban Meyer that they're talking about or whatever. We can set this up and set him up for success. Like, go ahead, Gabe.
No, I was going to say, because Trevor Lawrence did look good. I saw him play. I was like, this kid, he has the framework. He has the arm strength. He looks like a pro,
He's fast. Like
19 years old, looking like a pro. I was like, this guy, if Joe Burrow and him were in the same draft, I would have took Trevor Lawrence over Joe Burrow. But Joe Burrow, obviously, he's those, junior, senior, coming out of college. Trevor Lawrence was still a sophomore or whatever. So
and the thing with Joe Burrow, too, he had probably one of the greatest offenses in college history with that LSU offense. That LSU offense was fucking. That team was stacked. Like, it was one of the greatest college teams ever. And he still threw for, like, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. And, like, everybody's talking about, like, how he didn't look that great about Justin Fields because, it's Justin Fields is going to, like, surpass Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, don't give me that. Justin Fields looked like ass against 2 ranked teams. He just so happened to be throwing a couple bombs on go routes and against a Clemson defense that wasn't really that great and Clemson's offensive line that wasn't that great. And the thing is, people say like, Justin Fields looked really good. He threw for 350 yards, 6 touchdowns and all this. But I was like, Trevor Lawrence still threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns with literally an offensive line that was non-existent and an Ohio State defense that's really good. And like you see Justin Fields now when he played against Alabama, like he didn't look that great. I mean, granted the scheming in that game was a little off, but like they should have let him throw the ball more. But like, yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like Trevor Lawrence is the real fucking deal. Like he literally has no flaws. Like they can't find a single flaw about him. Like this guy can fly. He's 6'6". He has a rocket arm. He's super accurate. His footwork. Dude, Head and Shoulders commercials, bro. I mean, you know what I love the most about it too is the footwork. I see this guy play, and like, he's on another level, and like, footwork's one of those things where you don't notice unless you like watch footballing a lot, and you see like the way he's able to maneuver the pocket and move up, and just hit it is just like you can't teach that shit. Like that shit's like. He's just a natural at it, and this dude's unreal. Like, and I'm so pumped. Like, this guy, he's the next Andrew Luck, if not better.
Who do you think they go for their second pick? I saw they got the 25th pick from the Jets. What is Jaguar Nation? What are they saying that they're going to pick up second? Like, are they going to get a lineman, maybe somebody for him, or I don't know. I don't know what are their needs in Jacksonville.
So I was kind of pissed because the Rams won because we have the Rams pick. So the Rams beat the Seahawks, so I was kind of upset about that. I was upset back-to-back weeks because I wanted the Cardinals to beat the Rams, so the Rams didn't get in the playoffs, so it helps our pick. Then they get in, and then they beat Seahawks, which was a dumbass game. Like, Seahawks should have not lost that game. So our second pick, it depends what we do in free agency, like, which is going to be really interesting. It really depends what we do in free agency. If we get an offensive lineman, like they're talking about like Trent Williams and stuff, who's probably one of the best left tackles in the game. It's got to be offense, though. 100%. Like, I think you go out, sign defensive free agents, but our draft, we need to draft heavy on offense. Like, I want a lineman. There's a deep guard class coming into this draft. You got to get a guard, get a left tackle, get some rotational receivers. Like, go heavy on offense. Like, what I don't want is a Joe Burrow situation where Joe Burrow comes in here and he gets blown the fuck out by defensive ends and like his knee's like fucking non-existent. He's going to be walking out with a peg leg next year. Like, I don't want Trevor Lawrence walking out in a peg leg in his second year. Like, I don't want that. Like that's
you're definitely going to want to protect your first round pick. Man. Can we talk about Dolphins a little bit? I want to talk about Dolphins a little bit because this. Yeah,
you guys got an interesting situation. Go ahead. Like I'm into it. Dolphins is an interesting situation.
Jazz got number one. They're obviously going to take Trevor Lawrence. Take that off the board. That's automatic. We already know what's going to happen. So the Jets have a number 2, and then the Dolphins have a number 3, and then the Jets have a number 23, and I think the Dolphins have an 18 pick. So the conversation, I'm in this other chat. I'm in the other fantasy league and with like family, cousins, and friends of family, whatever. And the big, we're going off now because especially now after the Alabama game, the CFB, Devonta Smith is on my mind because I feel like with the number 3 pick above the Jets, they should take Devonta Smith. I feel like Tua's the guy. Give Tua some help. Let them draft some, give them some skill players. Because if you look at our skill players, it's a bunch of nobodies. There's another tweet. We got like a couple guys who were undrafted, a 5th round pick, a 7th round pick. These are like little scrap pieces. So my feeling is, in this conversation with my family, it's like, yo, Tua is the guy you drafted. Stick with your man. Okay, Justin Herbert's not on this team. Okay, you missed. Stick with Tua. Stick with your guy.
That's a game's defense mechanism. What? Yeah, you know what, man? Like,
we can't have him no more. He's gone. He's gone.
I know, but I'm just it's so gone. Funny. You're
that draft is bye-bye.
But how much would you have rather had Justin Herbert?
Well, I wasn't really high on him, but I was. That's a great pick, bro. That's a great pick.
I never understood the Tua hype. I would have if I was like going into that draft. I was one of the guys. I was like, you take Herbert over Tua. I do not say. Here's my criticisms about Tua. Not to say that he's not going to be a great quarterback or whatever. Future, we don't know. My guess, he's going to be an average quarterback. He's going to be like an Alex Smith. that's how I look at it. Never know. I'm open for my mind to be changed. Whatever. I think he's going to be an average guy, but I don't think he's going to be ass. But here's my thing. The reason why I was never high on Tua, because Tua, to me, he never really showed. He's not good at throwing on to his right. Like he's just not. He relies heavily on his left side. He can't throw him to the right. Like the one thing I'll give like Baker Mayfield has nailed the bootleg and throwing crossbody. Like he has gotten so good at that. And Tua, he has to show me that. He has to work on that. He needs to work on that. No. And the other thing with Tua is he went from Alabama, and this is not his fault, but Alabama, as you can see these past 2 years, have produced potentially six first-round wide receivers. So what? They had Judy, they had Henry Ruggs come out this past year. Was there another guy? Am I missing one? But then this year you're going to have Waddle. You're going to have Devontae Smith.
Yep.
And then I think there's a third guy. I can't think at the top of my head unless I'm thinking of the corner. No. But he was throwing to guys who were 15 yards open, like every single play.
Every play, these guys are open.
And let me finish this. So they're throwing. So you're not going to get that in the NFL. You're not. And I think even Fitzpatrick has talked about it. I saw Fitzpatrick brought it up, and Kurt Warner, they brought it up. Like the thing is, like he has to learn NFL open. Like, and one of the things I keep on going back to this when I like talk to people about this. Kurt Warner, like he said it so eloquent. I can't fucking say it.
Eloquently.
Yeah. He said it so great. Like he was like, when he was on the Super Bowl team for the Rams, he had the greatest show on turf. Torrey Holt and all those guys, Marshall Faulk, like those guys, they flew. They were open all the time. It was one of the greatest offenses the NFL's ever seen. He then goes to Arizona where he has who? Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Boldin. These aren't speed guys. So Kurt Warner had to learn a Larry Fitzgerald open is not the same as a Torrey Holt in 1999 open. So, because Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Boldin, they would always come up to him like, yo, we're open. Kurt's like, you're not open. He's like, we're open. Throw the ball. And that was the one thing like he has to learn with like Devontae Parker, because Devontae Parker's like that. Devontae Parker, he's not going to give you, he's not a speed guy. He's not going to create a whole lot of space. The thing is, I want to see Tua throw guys open. I want to see him throw guys open and put it in those windows. Not to say that he won't be able to do it, but I just want to see. I want to see him do that. It's
funny you bring that up because I did see some people putting up advanced statistics on Tua versus Fitzpatrick, and they're saying Fitzpatrick, the offense just turns on, it gets more explosive. And what you're saying about open windows, I think is true, but then again, Tua is a rookie. So the statistics I saw, I saw some advanced statistics where they took the best quarterbacks. They took like Russell. It was like Russell, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. And they looked at when they threw the ball, how much separation they had. And most of when the balls were thrown to receivers, they had like about 3.2, 3.3 something yards of separation. And then they pulled up Tua stats. And for the amount of separation the receivers had when the ball was thrown was like 1.3. So going to what you said earlier about looking at the difference between Tua and Fitzpatrick is just he's a cowboy. He sees that, like you're talking about NFL open. Tua is waiting for guys to get open. But like I said, he has fucking scraps. He has 5th round pick, 7th round pick, undrafted guy. And I'm not fucking Bowden, Gaskins. These guys
not holding that against him.
Number ones in other teams. So,
I do agree with you. I agree with you. He doesn't have a whole lot of weapons, 100%. But I do think there is a certain point where you're able to elevate your team. And I think Fitzpatrick showed that. Fitzpatrick was able to elevate his team. And it's not just so much more, it's like separation. It's also, you also got to take into consideration the windows. Like there could be a linebacker in front of him. Like he could have 3 yards of separation or 1 yard. And I get that. And I think, and obviously I didn't like the way that the offensive coordinator treated Tua in those games. He babied him when he would open it up for Fitzpatrick. But it also makes me wonder, was he showing something in practice where it was like he was getting picked off, he couldn't make the throws, or he just wasn't making them and he was holding onto the ball? And that, obviously we won't know because we don't see practice or anything, but it makes me wonder if that was happening. Like, they'll trust him.
There's an article that came out today. So it was not unanimous, anonymous. A couple players, I think it was 2 offensive players and a defensive player, talking about practices. And they're saying how, when you draft a guy first round, you can kind of see in practice that if he has it or not. And because this is the whole discussion right now, where the Dolphins are at is, A, do you throw everything away and try to get Deshaun Watson? Because Deshaun Watson's in the conversation. And I would love to have Deshaun Watson. I think he's amazing, but I think it would be a mistake. Why? Because the only reason why you have a number 3 pick is because you traded Jeremy Tunsil, who's a lineman, to get that first round pick. So now to the Houston Texans. So now you're going to trade back with the Texans to give them back. Like, I feel like that trade they're going to be asking for too much. And as much as I love Deshaun Watson, I think it'll be asking too much of the Dolphins. So Deshaun Watson's in the conversation. So they're giving up, basically, give up on Tua, get Deshaun Watson.
I do think you guys need weapons, though, because even if you do bring in Watson, he needs somebody to throw to. And with the amount of money you guys spent, I don't know what your cap space looks like, but the amount of money you spent on free agency last year, I can't imagine there being too much cap space. I can't imagine there being too much space, so you got to draft. And if I was you guys, I wouldn't even take. I would trade back, 100% trade back. I would trade back. Somebody's going to want a quarterback.
Here's my feeling with that is, okay, you get Deshaun Watson, and guess what? You still got a 5th round guy, a receiver. You got a 7th round. You got an undrafted guy. You still have defensive. You still have offensive.
I'm talking about if you keep your pick. Obviously, I highly doubt the Deshaun Watson thing's going to happen. It makes no sense from the Houston's perspective why they would do that. It'd be so stupid for them to do that. But I'm talking about as of now, I would not draft at that 3rd pick. I would do whatever I can to draft back, because there's going to be people who's going to either want that Zach Wilson guy from BYU. If the Jets take on Penei Sewell, and then you got Justin Fields sitting there, somebody's going to move up for him. You could, or who's to say Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then you trade back with Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati gets Penei Sewell because they need an O-lineman big time. Then what? You get the 7th pick. There's a good chance Devontae Smith might.
He's a Heisman winner.
He might be there, though. There's a lot of good guys. But then even if you don't get him, this is a super deep receiver draft. You can grab Waddle. I like that guy from LSU, Jamar Chase. He opted out this season, but he was a fucking baller with Joe Burrow and LSU. You can trade. I guarantee you somebody's going to be you guys got all the leverage in the world. And like you said, you guys need players on offense. You trade back, you're still going to get your number 1 wide receiver or number 2, whichever. I don't know how well they look into Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker looks like a good number 2 to me, honestly, but
not a number 1.
Yeah, you're still going to get either a number 1 or a number 1A wide receiver, and if you stay within the top 10, then you're probably going to get another 1st round next year that you can use towards offensive lineman or whatever. I just think if I was the Dolphins, there's no need for me to sit. What do I need to sit there for? Because you're more than likely probably. I don't see who. Let me pull up the draft order as of right now.
Well, I can tell you they have a number 3 and number 18. And so, like I said, right now they're at the state of, do we keep Tua, abandon Tua? Do we, you know what I mean? If you can't tell by the jersey that I'm wearing,
I say give him a chance.
I appreciate that. I appreciate this jersey, JoJo.
You already sat Fitzpatrick in the beginning of the season when he was, actually playing pretty good to throw 2 in, which could have changed the whole dynamic of the team, but you took the risk, right? Then you had him doing halfsies with Fitzpatrick in games. Yeah. You already threw him out there, right? Now just give him a chance for his next season. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. So you could trade back to number 5 or no. Look, Detroit might pull up. They're probably going to not. Matt Stafford's probably going to be gone. Matt Stafford might be gone. So Detroit might move up for you. Carolina might move up. No, dude, why would it be a waste?
The Dolphins. What are you going to get?
You're more than likely going to get another 1st round pick next year. Do you not want another back-to-back 1st round pick?
And then who's going to be your quarterback?
Dude, you're still going to get him at number Devontae Smith. Or even if you don't get him, because I'm not entirely sold on him, you could still get literally another top 10 wide receiver. I wouldn't trade out of the top 10. Don't get me wrong. I would stay within the top 10 because I think, I can see the Panthers moving up. I can see the Lions moving up. I can see the Cincinnati move up. You can move up Cincinnati's 5, I can 100% see Cincinnati moving up, grabbing the O-lineman. Atlanta's probably going to take a quarterback. I don't see them getting wide receivers. And then Devontae Smith is still going to probably be there. Like I don't think he's going within the top 5.
So this is what I'm saying. Because as of right now, as at the end of the season,
why would you not want more picks? Like you said, you need weapons.
Brian Flores already said that Tua is the guy. He already announced that Tua is our quarterback starting next year. However true that is, I don't know. We'll find out in 10 months or whenever the next season starts. Because right now we're still in the middle of playoffs. I hope we get to talk about playoffs. But the Dolphins right now, they have to decide, what is our problem? Do we have a quarterback problem? Do we have a lineman problem? Do we have a skill problem? Me, I'm team Tua. I'm team keep the guy. It's his first year. Not overly spectacular. I hope he becomes a great player. Maybe he'll be above average. And I feel weird because I feel like when I saw him in college, I really wasn't super over to a guy. I was like, oh, this guy's okay. Like his ball floats a little bit. It looks like it's a little like he's lofting shit. But
I never understood the hype. Like I can see now, but I'm talking about coming out of college as a prospect. Yeah. He never like stood out to me as like you gotta get him. Like I never understood that hype.
Well, you look at all the details and everything, right? His stats were up there, obviously with Alabama, but I feel like his hype died out after his injury, so people kind of stopped talking about him for a little bit.
But coming into the draft, he was hot, and like people were like, "There's the idea of tanking for Tua." Like when, before Joe Burrow, before all that whole 2019 season, like people were saying Tua was gonna be number 1, which I never understood. I mean, like this guy's throwing to like literally NFL wide receivers at the college level against fucking Citadel. Like, I don't even know where the fuck that college is.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up. I wasn't.
You're analyzing your problems with Dolphins, but you guys went 10-6 and just didn't make the playoffs. That's not a bad season though.
No, it's not a bad season.
That's gotta fucking suck, dude. I couldn't imagine going 10-6 and not making the playoffs in a now 7th seed being introduced, and you still don't make. I mean, it's not. The AFC is stacked. Like it's fucking stacked. The fact that you had to go 11-5 to make the playoffs is insane. The fact that 10-6 does not get you in is wild. Granted, you guys probably would have got blown the fuck out as soon as if you did make it, because you guys just weren't there yet. But like. You guys were literally going to play the Bills again.
That's what I'm telling you. Flores don't tank. Flores don't tank.
And I know all those Dolphins fans were watching that Jags Colts game. All of them. I had so many people messaging me like, "Yo, what's up with the Jags? Why can't they win a fucking game?" Because if we would have beat the Colts, you guys would have got in. But you guys are just going to get. I was like, dude, you guys are going to get smoked anyways. Like, you guys aren't going to make no run.
Going back to the draft, I was never big to a guy. I felt like if you fucking invest in this kid, you thought he was going to be the fucking number 1. You gave your number 1 pick for him. Fucking stick with him. You went halfway and you said he's our man. Stick with him. It's his first year. Went through 6-7 games. And not overly impressive. But I say stick with him. Get some skill guys. You have the position. You have that number 3 pick. Don't waste it on another quarterback. I don't even know who the other second best quarterback is. You don't have a quarterback problem. I don't think. I think you have a skill problem. And I hope they go Smith because I feel like he's going to give us the best chance to win. And you can do some other stuff outside of them. Yeah.
I think you trade back, you still get Smith. Like, depending how far, like, I think within that top 10, you could probably still get it. This is a super deep draft. And even if you don't get him, I'll be looking right there at Jamar Chase. Like, I love that guy. That guy is a beast. Like,
all right. Aside from the Dolphins, where do you think this guy's going? Watson wants out. Where's he going? Aside from
Houston has a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Like we got the Harden shit, the Westbrook. Now you got Watson. Like, dude, that's sucked.
The water, bro, in Houston because even the Astros got in some shit. So,
dude, I forgot about that.
Astros, Rockets, bro. Texans.
Dude, Texans is a fucking dumpster fire. Like Texans, oh god, that team. Like, you want to talk about one of the worst coaching spots to go to? To me, it's got to be the Texans. Like, I mean, you have absolutely no cap space. You have no picks. Like,
I read Andre Hopkins.
You're deep. You're tied up with so much money. With
started it. They want to get rid of him, and look what happened. Downhill.
You got to get fucking Billy O'Brien, fucking dumbass. Like, that guy's never getting a job. But there's no way J.J. Watt's coming back. J.J. Watt's getting cut. That dude makes too much money for what he is. JJ Watt's not the same guy. He's getting cut.
No,
like
after those injuries, for sure. He still tries hard. He works hard. Obviously hard work beats talent. But after the injuries that he's had, that's when he got the deals. When he was, top in his position, right? He was killing the game.
Dude,
and then, when you see anything less than that, it sucks, right? Because it's kind of degrading to the player. Like, you gave him that much money for what he was doing, but then and you see anything less, you feel like it's not worth it.
Dude, you know how much cap space him and Watson combined are taking up? $33 million in cap space. Like, that's insane. Like, that's insane. That's wild.
Yeah, I saw some on Twitter bringing it back to Miami. Obviously, one of their best players, and Hall of Famer, Andre Johnson, went to UM, came out and he kind of just kind of made a comment of like how Houston wastes people's careers. Obviously, with him, I think Andre Johnson was never.
That came out today.
Yeah. So him, that's a big thing because he pretty much played. He stayed his whole career with the Texans, I believe. Yeah,
no, he went to the Colts. One year.
Okay, for like 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
But most of his career. And
he's the leading receiver there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just made a comment of like how Houston they waste careers there and then Deshawn should get out, which I think is pretty damning. I mean, from an ex-player like that, like obviously you can tell like Andre Johnson's pretty sour still about his career, how his career went with the Texans. I don't know where it goes unless they trade him away. They want to make him happy. And I don't know what the structure of his contract is. But,
there's not a chance. He has a no trade clause in his thing. Bro, so it'd be, and I don't know.
$156 million extensions where he just got.
And that's another problem is that contract. I don't think any team, I don't think there's any team that. That's why a lot of people are tying him with Jacksonville. Like, there's a chance he can come to Jacksonville. There's been a little bit of buzz in the city about that because we're literally probably the only team that can make the deal worth. Because it's too much. It's like trying to trade Patrick Mahomes. Nobody has enough capital to do that. Like, you have to take on the contract. You have to give up, a shit ton of picks and players. Because this isn't like NBA where you can just make it work. Yeah. And Jackson, that's why they tie it a lot because obviously we're the first number 1 overall pick. We have literally a generational quarterback coming out, Trevor Lawrence. So it's like the Houston gets them. And we have cap space to pay Deshaun Watson. But first off, I don't want that. Deshaun Watson has 2 ripped ACLs in both knees. So, and I get it, he's in his prime, but like we have a lot of other issues that we need to fill up. And I'd rather get supplemental guys. And that's one reason I don't see him leaving. And 2, they'll be stupid to let him go. Even if they were to figure something out, like, why would you let him go? Like, you literally, a GM and a coach's job literally comes to NFL. Your number 1 priority. What is your number 1 priority? Getting a franchise quarterback. And you want to be known as the guy who got rid of him? Like a fucking Bill O'Brien when he got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Like, and then I can see why he gets pissed too, because like then they go and hire this Patriots guy. How many times are you going to hire a Patriots guy? These guys don't fucking work. Like there's only 2 guys that ever worked, and it seems like Brian Flores is going to be one of them. And then the other guy looks like the other guy is Vrabel from Tennessee. Those are the only 2 guys that from that tree that looks like they did something. Matt Patricia just got fired. Bill O'Brien got fired. And then you're going to sit here and hire another Patriot as the director of player personnel, knowing. And why would you hire him? Look at the Patriots squad. They look like ass. Cam Newton had nobody to throw to. You want to talk about no weapons? Tua, yeah, he had no weapons. Fucking Cam Newton had absolutely jack shit. He had high school guys injured He had absolutely nobody. Like,
crazy.
Granted, he played bad, and I don't think he's going to be a starter again, but he also did have nobody to throw to in his defense. But
all right, so overall, you feel like he's staying in Houston, right? One, it would be stupid for them to get rid of, and no one could take over his contract overall.
The contract, yes, but I don't see how anybody could compensate what it would cost. Like, it'd be
a lot.
There were rumors going around with a potential trade towards San Francisco.
With Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
No, I don't see any. I genuinely believe the only team that could possibly do something is Jacksonville. Like, I don't see how San Francisco could do it. San Francisco, like, if I was San Francisco, I'd get Matt Stafford. You get Matt Stafford, you're winning the Super Bowl. Best believe it. Like, they were a quarterback away. Like, and I don't think, like, you would have to give up a lot of defensive pieces, which Houston needs. Houston has literally an awful defense. And defense is what makes it. I don't see where you go. Like, I mean, Patriots have got shit. Like, nobody could take. It's literally him and Patrick Mahomes are the two guys that are literally untradeable. Like, they're worth too much. Nobody could give them up. I don't know what you would do unless you just give up year after year after year first round picks. But like, how are you gonna build a team?
I don't know. We'll see. I think the draft comes up in March, right? It's in March, I think, is when the combine is.
We're still in the midst of playoffs, man, with a lot of action going on here. But let's talk about these Ravens-Bills coming up, man. It's going to be Lamar's potentially first snow game. Did y'all know that?
I did not know
that. It's snowing.
It's snowing in Baltimore?
No, it's snowing in his hometown of Buffalo.
Your hometown?
Your hometown, man.
What do you guys think about this game? I mean, weather definitely is going to affect. I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting, fun game. I'm trying to think of now who I like in this game. I mean, the Bills are really good, man.
I'm taking the Bills.
The Bills are rolling with fucking, but also the Ravens defense. That's probably going to be the matchup I want to see. The defense, the Ravens defense against the Bills offense.
I'm not sold on their defense. I'm be honest with you.
If it's snowing, that's definitely going to stop his run game.
Damn.
So
okay.
What do you think?
So they have the spread right now as Bills 2.5 is the under, and they have Ravens as the dog 2.5.
So field goal.
So I think that game they're making that. I don't think that game's going to be that close. I would take the cover on the Bills. I think the Bills are going to beat them pretty handily. The thing is, I don't trust the Ravens. I don't trust Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm one of those guys where I'm just like, I'm not super sold on him. Like, he's a good player.
You don't like quarterbacks that run. That's what it is.
No,
you're very fishy about quarterbacks.
I'm very fishy about quarterbacks who can't prove they can throw. I don't care if you can run. The name of the game is throwing the ball. And that's what it is. No matter how much because I loved Michael Vick. Michael Vick was obviously probably the pioneer of all this, the reason why we're here right now. And I love Russell Wilson. I like guys. I don't want your number one thing to be running. I want you to be mobile and run if you need to and throw a play here and there. But I don't want you. Lamar is
that he can also.
My thing with Lamar Jackson is he's not accurate to me. Granted, he doesn't really have weapons. I'll give him that. He has Mark Andrews, he's turned out to be a really good pickup for them in the draft. But I've just seen him time and time again. Like he's not too great under pressure, and he's not super accurate. And you've kind of seen it this year where he's kind of got figured out a little bit. And in his defense, he has became a better thrower. And I want to see him constantly improve to become a better thrower because, like I said, running quarterbacks always make me fishy because it's like I said, the name of the position is to throw the ball. And if you can't throw the ball, I don't care how much you can run. I don't look at RG3. RG3 is a wash now.
I agree, right? I get what you're saying. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is in a whole nother tier, above these other running quarterbacks. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, what more can he do to kind of prove himself to get out of everybody's head that he's not a good thrower? Like, I mean,
to become a better thrower. Like
he led last game, that playoff game, and rushing yards and receiving. Well, throwing.
Passing yards.
Passing.
Oh yeah, I mean he's the only one throwing the ball.
Damn, dunked on you.
Teams.
So he threw more than Tannehill?
Yeah, and he had the most rushing yards, so he led in both categories.
That's not hard to do. To throw more than Tannehill.
He performed. What I'm saying is he performed. So, like, why underlook that? You can't just say that that's not a good stat. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm not saying I'm not going to say he's not going to be good. I think I'm not super I just want him to become a better thrower. Do I think he can go out there and if he do I think he can go one-on-one with Josh Allen? No. I think Josh Allen will win that battle. And that's the thing. And you're coming into the AFC where you have to outthrow these guys. You got Patrick Mahomes in here. You have Justin Herbert who's coming up. You're having Josh Allen. You're having Baker Mayfield. You got competition, and you gotta light them up. And if you can make it work with using your feet and throwing, that's great. Give him more weapons. I want to see him throw more. I think they tried to do that in the beginning of the season, and that was my one thing, because you look in the beginning of the season, they tried to switch it up. They tried to make him throw more. You notice he didn't run as much this year, especially in the first half of the year, that he did last year. And then the Ravens got better as they kind of reverted back to how they played last year, which, they found a system and that's what works.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, they put up what was the score against Tennessee? They put up 20 points. I think it was. They beat them. It was 20 or 13, right?
I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember the score, but I can look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Look, you got to score more than 30 to beat Kansas City, and you got to score more than 30 to beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because they beat them 2013 against a trash ass Tennessee defense. Tennessee's defense sucks.
Well, that's where your defense comes into play against teams like Kansas City.
You need to, but I don't know what defense can stop Kansas City. And
I think.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I was gonna say I think you convinced me. I think the Bills are probably gonna win this game. I think it will be tight. But Josh Allen is kind of unstoppable. Like the way he throws the last game,
unreal.
And their defense, the Bills' defense was going off. They were doing the pass deflections and interceptions the way. And right now, I think they're the hottest team right now as far as the playoffs. Well, them and the Browns. We can talk about the Browns too, but I think it will be close. I don't know if it's going to be a shootout because I think Josh Allen is a better thrower than the Ravens. But we'll see. I don't know how heavy it's going to snow because that generally means they're probably going to run more to keep the ball out of the air from slipping.
And I trust Singletary more than the Ravens running back. I can't think of his name.
Well, there's Dobbins and Mark Ingram. I know because I drafted Mark Ingram and he didn't do shit for me this season.
And I like Singletary over those guys. That Buffalo offense is just unstoppable and their defense is heating up. Like, you can't convince me by dropping 20 points on Tennessee, who has a bad defense, whose offense carried him the whole season. And then you're about to come in here. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think I would smash that fucking under on Buffalo 100%. I might put money. I think Buffalo's going to fucking scorch him. I think they can't stop Stephon Diggs. I think the only way they beat him is if the line does well. You need my boy Calais and Ngakoue to do some work on the trenches.
He's gonna turn up on y'all.
So you got the Ravens. I got the Bills.
I got the Bills, and I have them covering. I think that's a joke that they have a -2. Like at home, Lamar's never played in snow. Like, give me the Buffalo. The Buffalo's just too hot. They're too hot, man. The only team that can stop is Kansas City. I mean, I will say though, the Colts put up a fight. That was a good ass game. Because the Colts has a nasty defense, and then they got a pretty decent offense. I think with another quarterback, they could have won that game.
Oh, man. Phillip Rivers barely got it to that end zone, but they didn't catch it anyways.
Next game, Chiefs, Browns, two of the hottest teams right now. Well, we say KC's hot. They're very dominant. And the Browns, man, they turned it around. I know these last few episodes, we've been going up and down with Baker Mayfield, but are you now, Gabe? Are you finding him?
I can't bet against Baker Mayfield anymore. I mean, the last half of the season, they just been playing lights out. I doubted them a lot this season, but that game was insane, man. I think they put up 28 points in the first quarter or something. Like they were projected to score 112 points by the end of the game or something. It was insane. But Pittsburgh, that first half, nowhere to be found. I didn't even know if they were on the field at the time when they were scoring all those touchdowns. But crazy game. I'm not gonna doubt, even though it is, I can't doubt Mahomes because Mahomes is a champ, and as long as you are the champ, to be the man, you got to beat the man. But that's also a hot team. They're playing on fucking all cylinders right now. I couldn't, maybe the game against the Steelers with the Browns kind of dragged the second half. But yeah. I'm not betting against Baker Mayfield. I think right now,
Steelers were on a decline heading into the playoffs, and that's definitely not where you want to be. They started off hot, lost like last 4 to 5 games or something like that. Browns beat them right before the playoff game too, which they say that was a throwaway game. No game's a throwaway game, especially that's the team you're going to play in the playoffs, right? All right, you got to take advantage and play, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, okay, no, Steelers are going to win this next one. And look what happened. That first play with the fumble gave me flashbacks with Peyton Manning versus Seahawks in the Super Bowl. I was like, oh,
that was, I think,
some bad flashbacks.
My thing is, the thing with the Browns, man, is like, I don't even would say that they're hot. I mean, they lost to the Jets in week 16. They barely beat the Steelers in the week 17, and the Steelers had 10 starters on the bench, and then they come play the Steelers again, and the Steelers, that team is a dysfunction. They're a mess. Big Ben, it's his time. He needs to go. The play calling was awful. He has no run game. The defense, for some reason, is not playing as lights out as they were in the first 11 games. That team was on the decline. Man.
It's a different team.
I'm not sold on that. The Browns being hot, because they literally, you look at these past 3 games, they lost to the Jets. They barely beat the Steelers in week 17 against literally backups, and then they beat a dysfunctional Steelers team who were ill prepared, who their offensive play calling was just bad. Their defense couldn't stop anybody. And they're just slow. Big Ben is throwing the ball way too quick. They have no run game, and the Steelers weren't going to win. They fooled a lot of people in the beginning of the year, but their true colors came out, and they have the Browns +10, Chiefs -10. That's a lot. I think the Browns are going to keep it close. I would actually take the Browns on that over to cover the spread.
Honestly,
because 10's a lot.
Winning and beating the Chiefs. I just don't see it happening.
I'm not betting against Baker.
But then
I'm
again,
not betting against Baker.
Then again, I could see the Chiefs beat them by 10 because you're at Kansas City, and Kansas City has not slowed down, not a bit. But I'd still take I think I would take the Browns to cover that 10. But I don't know, man. But you know what's funny though? I do feel like Baker has played better since Odell has left the league, which kind of
he didn't leave the league. He fucking
not leave the league.
His knee.
well, I was saying
his knee blew up, man. It exploded.
All right, Odell's coming back in a peg leg, so I think, and that validates what I said earlier. Was when he left, I was like, and Baker played well that first game with him gone. I was like, maybe he needed that, because having that pressure of you need to throw to Odell, you need to throw to Odell, you need to throw to Odell, having that pressure relieved to him and not having to force it to him all the time. I mean, that opens the field a lot for him. I mean, and you still got Jarvis Landry over there who's a beast. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy for the Browns. I know what it's like to be a part of a losing franchise. I'm glad they won their first playoff game. I'm super pumped for them. But you're coming into a red hot Super Bowl defending Chiefs team, and I just don't see how your defense can hold up. And I don't even know if you can really keep up. I don't know if nobody has the weapons to really Buffalo and Green Bay are the only teams that could probably keep up with Kansas City. I guess. But we'll see. I hope the Browns keep it interesting. I think they got some work to do in the offseason. They could shore up probably their defense and their off and add a little bit more weapons.
Like you said, right? To play against Mahomes, you need to be able to score. So let's see what
scoring
this
league
guy
now.
can do.
If I had to pick an upset of the week, it's this
Indeed.
game. This game,
Really?
I'm gonna pick the Browns.
Wow.
I'm gonna pick the Browns. Upset of the week.
Damn, you gonna put money on that?
How much you need?
It's
much
plus,
Put up that
on the money line. It's plus in the money line. It's plus 380.
Well, that means I put 100, I get 380.
Yes.
Yes. We'll see.
Take
Let's
that.
talk off. Let's talk off. You know what I mean?
All right, Packers Rams.
Packers Rams. Now this is gonna be a fucking blowout. This is my blowout of the week. Calling it here first. Aaron, the GOAT Rodgers is about to smoke them. Man, I get the Rams have the number one defense in the league. Their defense is unreal. I mean, obviously you got Jalen Ramsey. He's probably the best corner in the league. You have Aaron Donald, who's probably going to – I'm calling it here. Aaron Donald's going to go down as the greatest defensive lineman to ever play the game. That dude is unreal. That man is on another planet. You look at this guy. You look at this dude's like workout videos on YouTube. This guy is literally a freak of nature. He's so ridiculously fast and huge. And people are already saying it. Like he's going to go down as one of the greatest, if not in the conversation as one of the greatest, or if not the greatest defensive lineman. Like DN, D tackle. Even though he's a D tackle, but I'm talking about whole line. He is unreal. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to smoke him because Aaron Rodgers is and Devontae Adams and Tunyon, their tight end, and then you got Aaron Jones. And if their supplementary wide receivers can show up like Lazard, is he playing? I think he is. But,
Not sure.
if they can show up, I really think and they're going to play in the frozen tundra. I don't trust Jared Goff not 1 second. He literally got benched against some guy in the playoffs. They benched Jared Goff in the playoffs, and the only reason why he played is because the dude got sent in an ambulance. Like I don't trust Jared Goff not one bit. And then you're talking about that cold weather, like they're built for that. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is built playing that cold. That dude, he's on
years in that cold, bro. He was born in that cold.
Aaron Rodgers, he had something to prove this year, man. I love that guy. That dude's amazing. I mean, they draft a quarterback. They move up and draft a quarterback. He's like, oh, you want to do that shit? All right. I'm winning y'all a chip. Like the Green Bay's going to smoke them.
I was high on Jared Goff this year, and he had a pretty disappointing season. He never really put up a lot of big stats. I'm gonna go with Rodgers because it's Roger and Lambeau.
MVP Rodgers. MVP.
He's got a chip on his shoulder, and I've seen him put up yards. I've seen him put up stats, and it's him and Devontae. Give me Rodgers all day.
That's gonna be an interesting matchup though. Devontae and Ramsey. That's gonna be really interesting. But
I don't average 31 points this season. The Packers.
They're insane. 31 points. They're just incredible, dude. MVP Rodgers, the dude's on another level. Like, and I love the way like Aaron Rodgers is one of those players where like he just like and he goes like 60 yards. Like it's just like it's insane. But
Aaron Rodgers,
Jared Goff ain't keeping up.
Rodgers.
Let's talk about this last game. Bucks Saints.
This is gonna be an interesting one. This is
Battle of the Old Men.
This is the closest game. So they have the Ravens. They have the Ravens, the Bills as the closest with 2.5. They have this game at -3 to the Saints, and they have Tampa Bay as the dog at +3. I think this is a closer game than Buffalo and Baltimore. This is gonna be a good ass game. This is gonna be a good game.
I agree.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. That's what I'm going to take.
This is going to be the first time you have two 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks playing against each other in a playoff game, which is insane.
Yeah.
The Saints scare me, dude. Drew Brees scares me. He has drastically dropped off. Like, dude, his arm looks limp. Like I forgot what game it was. He just looked like he couldn't make the throws, man.
He's like 43.
But I don't remember the beginning of the season. He wasn't like that. It was like after he came back from his injury. That dude is like, and I don't trust Taysom Hill. I don't think Taysom Hill's the future there. I think you got to give it supposedly Taysom and Jameis are going to compete for the starting job next year. I think Jameis is going to win it by a landslide.
I think he's 41. To correct myself, Drew Brees is 41 years old. I think Tom Brady's older, right?
Yes, Tom Brady's 43, I believe.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
There's some on Twitter. They put like a History Channel. They should put the game on History Channel or something. Tom Brady did something. One of his social media put some shit out there. Like they dress with like gray beards and shit.
Honestly, bro, I'm going for one of the vets, man. I think Drew Brees definitely deserves more than one ring in his career, and so does Aaron Rodgers. So those are one of the two guys I want to see win this year, to be honest. Especially what happened in the playoffs last year with the Saints. With that ridiculous call or non-call, whichever one it was that happened or didn't happen. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's insane. You know how many years guys left, bro? Like, he's definitely too good to just only have one ring in his career.
My one thing is, this is going to be a low-scoring game. They actually have the over-under at 51.5. I could actually see that because, first off, Tampa Bay's defense is really good, and so is New Orleans. They both have really good defenses, but then they both got really good offenses. So you're going to see a good mix. I can see this game going like 28, 24, 24, 21, something like that. I'm going to go Tampa Bay because I just feel like they're hot right now. Tampa's hot right now. And New Orleans doesn't, like, they're good, but I don't know, man. I just... Tampa Bay Gronkaneers, they're hitting all cylinders right now. They're looking really good, and I think they're going to come by and beat New Orleans. Yeah, so it's going to be a close game.
I've seen games too where Tom's, where he looks like he's making bad throws as well. I think Drew Brees' arm strength has decreased, and I've seen games where Tom, the Bucs were like, 1 week they come out that you think they're amazing, next week they come out and they just stink. But with Tom in the playoffs, I think they have more weapons and more options, to spread the ball around. They got a bunch of little white guys out there. I think Gronk, I don't think he's going to be a huge factor or whatever.
I don't know, man. Gronk's been hot, man.
AB, I mean, we'll see. I'll take Tampa.
Gronkaneers. My thing is, I think when you're saying like those, like when you're talking about Tampa and how Tom Brady and how he said he felt like he was just missing guys. I think a lot of that though is chemistry, and that's why like you saw a lot through like the first 10 games. It just seemed like they weren't like syncing well. Like that's the vibe I got from them. But then these past few weeks, I mean. Like I said, they've been hitting all cylinders. It seems like they figured it out. Like him, Bruce Arians, Godwin, Evans. You got Brown in there now. Rob Gronkowski looks alive again. Brait he's not a bad guy. Obviously got Ronald Jones and Fournette. Why did Ronald Jones get hurt? Why was he not playing?
I believe he's been hurt. I mean, it could also be a COVID thing. Let me look that up.
I forgot what it was. He's been amazing. I've actually been really surprised with him. But Fournette actually had a decent game this past week. But I just feel like I just don't know if I can 100% trust New Orleans. To me, it's going to come down to Drew Brees. If Drew Brees shows out, I think they win that game. And because, I mean, like I said, like both got weapons too. Alvin Kamara has been insane. Dude. That guy's been insane. And obviously got Michael Thomas. Like, this game's going to come down to Drew Brees. If Drew Brees plays lights out, they win this game. If he plays average or below average, Tampa wins.
Jones out with a quad injury. So I just saw an article saying they're going to wait to see if he can play this game. And that was from 2 days ago. So, who you got? Who you got, JoJo?
I'm going Saints, man. I think Tom's great. Greatest all time. But battle of the 40-year-olds, I think Drew Brees has something to prove. And he definitely needs another ring before retiring. And this would probably be his last chance. I know he's consistent in making the playoffs every year, but something terrible always goes wrong towards the end of the season or whatever to eliminate them.
Well, he already says he's retiring. He's retiring after this.
Yeah.
This is it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
This
he
is
came
it.
out.
I mean-
He said this is it. And then Sean Payton's already talked about how Jameis and Taysom Hill's going to battle out for number 1 next year. So this is it for
All right,
Brees.
so, I mean, hey, Tom Brady, man, you got 6 of them things, bro. So I think Drew Brees is your last shot. You got to go for it. Obviously, he's a competitor. He's gonna, try to win. But I'm gonna go Saints with the.
So what do you think the
I guess-
Super Bowl is going to be?
Ooh. Man, I hope I.
Go, Pat, go.
What was that?
I'm going with the Packers to win it all.
So you got them come out the NFC. Ooh.
I got
Ooh.
Packers 100% coming out of NFC. I think they're coming out no matter. I think the only team that can give them a run for their money is Tampa, because Tampa did beat them. It looked like they had that was Aaron Rodgers' worst game of the season was against Tampa. Tampa has their number. So if you're a Green Bay fan, you want to play New Orleans. You want to play New Orleans. I don't know if you want to play Tampa. I think if New Orleans went, I think no matter what, Green Bay's winning. I think that game that happened earlier this year, that was a little bit just a bad game. I think Green Bay comes out 100%. Where it gets tricky is the AFC. I think it's 100% between Chiefs and Bills.
I'm calling Chiefs Packers.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Chiefs going back to
If I had to pick my favorite, I guess I'll pick the Bills because they whipped our ass. So hopefully they go.
You say you don't know. Who's taking the Chiefs out? Good.
Bills are the only one that can.
Bills potential.
But honestly, right? I think the Super Bowl is Green Bay and Kansas City. I think that's a Super Bowl. Going back to the original Super Bowl, the Super Bowl number 1, Green Bay, Kansas City. That's what people were hoping for last year, because it would make the 100th NFL season would be the first Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Well, it's going to be 1-on-1, so there we go.
I got the Bills coming out the AFC. I think
really
they're probably
I wouldn't be surprised.
Upset, man.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm betting on an upset season for the Chiefs. I wouldn't be
surprised.
They're rolling.
Yeah, I'm not I don't think anybody's beating Green Bay. Like I said, I think the only one that could is Tampa. But honestly, I don't know. That's gonna be enough. That's a really. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, damn, Tampa did whoop their ass that first meet, and it does make me wonder. But I still think Green Bay's coming out. I think Green Bay's more of a surefire than Kansas City is. Kansas City and Bills. That's gonna be a good ass game.
Or the Browns.
Get the fuck out of here with that
shit. We'll see, man.
If Baker Mayfield, it would be a go if he did that shit.
I think that's pretty much it, man. We cover everything for this week, right?
Yeah, man.
We'll talk about that next episode.
Hey, spread this. What's the social media, JoJo? What's the social media? Social media out there.
Real Fans Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Gabe with the Twitter fingers. He's been live tweeting every game. Some hilarious stuff there.
Yeah, check it out. 100% hilarious.
Hey, tell him, Julian, what we're working on.
He learned what hashtags are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I do want to mention that. So our next episode is actually going to be live streamed. So if you guys want to come by and ask some questions, send some add to the chat, we're going to be going live. Probably from here on out. This is going to be our last probably pre-recorded one. And yeah, next episode we're going to be 100% live. So come by. We're probably going to tentative on the time exactly, but it's probably going to be Wednesday and probably around 8 o'clock, but we'll see. 100%.
Yep. Just follow us on Instagram. You'll see the post. You see us putting up the time and date. Real Fans Podcast. And thank you for tuning in on first episode 2021, episode 6. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace.